What's up, Yins? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have a special edition. It's the 2022 Toyota Tundra. It's the crew cab, Super Crew, with the 6.5-foot bed. It's the 1794 edition, so it's the huge pickup truck. It's the newest one from Toyota. I have a Toyota Tundra. I love Tundras. They're one of my favorite pickup trucks. This one is no different, but it's definitely different, if you get what I'm saying. Subscribe to the channel, like it, shoot me some comments. Let's get to the review. Let's go for a ride. Guys, so let's get into my first impressions. I actually took video of my first impressions when I first got the truck, like the day I got the truck. And it came down to this. It's a huge truck. It's got a lot of new technology. It looks different. It's different all around. It feels different. And that was my first impression. It was just overwhelming how much different this truck was. I wasn't anticipating that much change and that much of a difference in feel. And that's what I got. So I couldn't really like say that clearly in my video the first time I took it. So I just want to get that across. First impressions are, it's overwhelming, the changes, and getting your head around all the changes and how they perform together really makes it a pretty good package for a pickup truck. But let's get to the pros and cons. All right, guys, standing outside the 1794 edition Tundra, and what's the first thing you notice? I know the first thing I see is this enormous grille, these awesome headlights, LED headlights, and then just the sheer size of this thing. The big mirrors sticking out, huge cab, and then the regular size bed makes for a huge truck. And then look at the LED taillights in the back. And I like how this back is styled. So notice it has kind of like a spoiler look to it in the back, on the back tailgate. Has that cut inside that also follows the headlight or the taillight design. And then your bumper is kind of useless. You can't sit on it. You can step on it, but you can't sit on it. And there's another one that comes out over here. I'll show you when you want to get in the bed. But real quick, plastic all through here, plastic inside the bed, nice rubber floor mat in there as well. And then that window, that's a big deal for Toyota. Look at that size of the lights back there. So when you open this up, lights shine down on the back as well. But look at that window. That window comes down. That's one of the few trucks that has the full window that goes straight down. So then back here, you open this up. Now you have a little step to get up into the truck. When you close the bed, that goes away. But overall, the appearance of the truck is just monster, and I love it. I wasn't a big fan of the design overall, but after being with it for a few days and kind of seeing it, looking at it in person all the time, it's not bad. The fog lights are integrated right there. Really slick. Love those quad beam headlights. Just an imposing stance of the grille of the car itself, the truck itself. Let's get inside and take a look. All right, guys, inside the truck, I'm gonna fire it up so you guys can see the screens that come up when you turn it on. And the first thing you're gonna notice, right, is that. Holy smokes. And then the heads up display shows up on the dash up front there. Anyway, so first things first, really, really brand new, never seen before interior of the Tundra. All digital, everything's digital, everything's digital. HVAC controls, some of your hazards, your traction control, your air suspension settings, stuff like that. Wireless charging, your parking brake, Nice gear selector, storage compartment down here, drive mode selector, 4-wheel drive selector. So like all your basics, right? And then you just have this thing, which is gigantic. And really it's just the entire dash. And when you're driving at night, this person sitting here, that's all they see. I mean, look how big it is compared to that seat. So that's really the gist of this interior. It's just overwhelmed by the screen. It's overwhelmed by the brightness of it and the use, you use everything goes through that. The stereo's through that. Now that's the factory screen. That's the factory map that comes with the car. It's not bad. When you hook your phone up though, you get the CarPlay option. So nice looking steering wheel with the flat bottom design, but it's not really a flat bottom. Your normal controls up here control what's there. These are your cruise control settings. Down here there's a host of other buttons, automatic headlights, the automatic start stop, heated steering wheel, all that good stuff. These are the lights that are on the side there. You see those lights? And then these extend your mirrors out in case you have a trailer, and it does that on both sides. See how it's going in now? But that's the interior. Stacking of materials, hard rubber up top here, leather wrapped up top, comes down to the wood grain, down to the leather wrap, stitching, wood grain, leather wrap, little cubby holes everywhere, little things going down everywhere. Pretty slick interior for sure. Let's jump in the back seat. See how big that. Something worth note, as you saw, it just goes back up. When you open this door or the front door, the running boards come out. Automatic running boards come out. Huge back seat, and the seats in here with no problem. All the other seats are gigantic. Static seat belts. You got heated and cooled rear seats back here. You got a plug for your laptop. You got charging capability, A and B USB ports. It's just a monster of an interior of a truck. One last thing I wanted to show you is this. It goes from a mirror to a monitor. Mirror to a monitor. And that camera is mounted up there above inside the third tail light. But that's pretty cool little option. All right guys, before we get on the road, I always like to go over the numbers of the vehicle and kind of what this one's equipped with and what we're driving. 22 Toyota Tundra Crew Cab, 1794 edition, 6.5 foot bed. This one's coming with the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, 389 horsepower with 479 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic transmission. That has a 12,000 pound towing capability, so that's not terrible. It's really pretty good. There's an air suspension and an adaptive variable suspension as well underneath this vehicle, independent as well. So like it doesn't drive like the old Tundras. It doesn't feel like a truck in general. It doesn't feel any worse. It's just different, and you can definitely feel the adaptive suspension while you're driving, especially if you're going over a lot of bumps. It kind of dampens things, and if you're shifting load with acceleration, it also levels you out a little bit as well. So that's noticeable. This one came to a bottom price of $66,626. That's expensive, but it's also a huge truck with new technology. I mean, let's get out on the road and talk about it, but it's a pretty cool truck. All right guys, good and bad list. Let's start with the bad, and let's start with the elephant in the room. It doesn't feel like a Tundra. It doesn't feel like a truck anymore. It feels like a luxury SUV that floats you down the road and adjusts to everything that's on the road. It doesn't feel like a truck. And even the suspension adjustments, the changes they made to the suspension system for this new model, it just doesn't feel like a truck. And I'm not saying that that's horrible. That's what I noticed driving it for a week, is that it comes across as just less truck feeling than normal. And that's the first thing on my bad list. Second thing on my bad list, and it's a personal preference thing, is the lack of the V8 engine. They got rid of the 5.7 liter i4 V8. I didn't like to see that happen, but at the same time, it has not lost any performance numbers. It has not lost any performance feel whatsoever. In fact, it gets off the line quicker and runs down the quarter mile faster and takes you down the highway faster. So it's not like you lost any performance with the change. It's just, again, change is sometimes hard, and that's one of the changes. Third thing on my bad list, it's too big. And I only say that because I live in sort of it's a country town, but it's got some tighter streets and some areas where we need to park, and this truck is just too big to make those turns. You have to make 3-point turns, 4-point turns sometimes just to get those things done. And if I was gonna get a truck, I have to get a crew cab. I don't know if I would get the 6.5 foot bed though. I mean, I know I lose some of my construction capabilities not having that large bed, but man, would it really help in some of the tight spots you have to drive. That's the bad list. Let's get to the good. All right, the good stuff now, right? The good list. Number one on the good list, the power, the 3.5 liter twin turbo. I know it's kind of contradicting to what my bad list was, you know, and not having the V8, not all that stuff, but you can't deny the efficiency and the power and the improvement that they've made over the years in a 3.5 liter V6 with a twin turbo. The amount of power that this thing has is it's undeniable, and it's great, and you can't beat that. Number two on my list is the style, and I fought that for a while. I wasn't really sure that I liked the styling of it because it's just so polarizing and it's so flamboyant and different from the previous models, but it's wearing on me. It's handsome, it's got clean lines. The looks, number two on my list. Number three on my list is the refined, updated nature of this truck as a whole. And I say that after driving it for a week and being kind of unsure of how I was gonna feel about it overall, just about the way that it's been changed, I was so overwhelmed with. But now, after being with it for a week, what meaningful changes they made. Meaningful changes as in a more efficient, powerful power plant, a better shifting, faster transmission, the long bed with the crew cab, the technology, the screen update, the comfort of the interior seats, the heated and cooled seats in the back, the visuals you can get out of this. You can see everything out of this vehicle very easily. The light, the sign, the sight lines are very well done. Just all of that stuff comes together and makes a package that is just a really, really nice, large, fully equipped pickup truck. And I know that's full circle, being overwhelmed and being like, I don't know what to expect with this, and then having to drive it for a week. You know, I had my kids in it a couple times. We went downtown, we took some trips on the highway, took some trips on urban roads, just to see how this thing would handle. And I'll tell you what, I was definitely pleasantly surprised at the end of this week to say that I think they are thoughtful changes and should have been done, and I'm glad they were. Thumbs up, Car Dad Bill this week. Real cars, real people, real life. Tune in next time. I'll see you later.